Hello, everyone. Hello.
Hello.
It is the SqueekyDogCast episode 30. 30 weeks and 30 squeaks.
30 weeks and 30 squeaks. That's
I
quite something.
made that up just now. Are you proud of me?
I'm very proud.
That is good. That's good. Uh, it's been ever eventful in the world of politics affairs. This will probably be another politics heavy episode, everyone. So we're sorry.
Well, before we dive into that, episode 30.
Episode 30. Yeah, no, that's crazy. 30
Episode 30.
30 is like kind of close to like 50, and 50 is halfway to 100, and 100 is a big number.
I mean, and the podcast is aging now. It's in its 30s.
Yeah, eventually it'll start
Bones are
graying.
starting to creak.
The hairs are starting to gray. You're starting to not be
I had a
able to
family
bend
member who
back.
went gray at like 27.
That's crazy. I see people who are like my age and they're like balding, and I'm like, "Oh my God, I'm so sorry for you." Like their
Yeah, well,
hairline is
your
gone, and I'm
country
just like, damn.
is like chemical more than anything else.
There was a YouTuber that my brother liked to watch a lot, who like he was like a fucking Minecraft YouTuber, and the dude like always wore a hat, and I was like, damn, this guy's always wearing a hat. And he took off the hat, and he had like the most like uncle, like old man, like just get rid of the hairline ever, like just shave your head type of hair. And I'm like, oh my God, bro's like 21 and he's got the fucking geezer cut.
Well, I mean, being a Minecraft YouTuber, that's probably not the worst thing about him.
And he's if anyone knows who I'm talking about, his name is Unspeakable, which is really
Probably doing unspeakable things.
I hate those.
Being a Minecraft
I hate it when
YouTuber.
my brother watches those videos, because it is literally like he's like a fucking billionaire or something, because he's got like huge mansions, and like one of his mansions has a moat around it that he like jet skis through, and I'm just like, this is like actual like fucking slop content for like small babies, and he's like rich as shit. I hate this.
Yeah,
Uh,
but there's something to be said for making slop content, because apparently that's what pays the bills, right?
yeah, absolutely. Like
That's what pays the bills.
so many children's YouTubers that my brother would watch would be like rich people in big mansions playing like hide and seek with like their like 5 kids, and it'd be like 28-year-old guys with 4 kids and like the same looking wife as the next guy, as they like play Minecraft and then do hide and seek and then like play like manhunt with private security. It's crazy. Like it's some like fucking playground of the rich type shit where you just get to like, oh, I have all this money. I'm just gonna like make a YouTube channel where I have fun and be a child. I don't know, it's
Speaking
weird.
of those YouTube channels, like, you remember that whole thing? I think it was like mid 2010s, where there were a bunch of YouTube channels of just families.
Yeah, those still exist today, though. They're mostly like TikTok kind of things going
They're
on.
they're they're not as big as they are, like they
No.
were then, and I think a lot of that comes down to like what happened to almost every single one of those YouTube
They were
channels.
all like abusers and pedophiles, and like some of them fucking killed their kids.
Psychologically, mentally fucking abusing their
There
children.
was that one family, I think it was Ruby Frank, right? I think it was Ruby Frank. I'm gonna Google this real quick. Ruby Frank, who like had her children locked up in this like in shit, like Holland. I think she was a YouTuber. If not, American vlogger, yeah.
The,
Um
the the one that comes to mind for me is I think the channel is called
yes,
Daddy05,
Daddy 05. That's the other one.
where they would actually like they would go into their kids' rooms and mess it up
Emotional
and
distress.
throw paint and shit, and then they'd come and be like, "What the fuck did you do?
Yes, I do remember
What
that.
the fuck did you
What the
do?
fuck did
Don't
you
you lie to
do?
me!"
Don't you?
Don't you lie to
I
me.
remember
And it's
these
like the
videos.
kid's like, I swear I didn't fucking do it.
Mommy of, hold on, I need to pull up a photo of what these guys looked like. Like this is what this is what they looked like. This is the most like I beat my children looking like parents right now. And the thing is
That's
too,
from like their apology
yeah,
video, isn't it?
it's from their apology video.
Their
This is
quote unquote apology
yeah.
video.
So the two of them, the two main
Did they
kids who
end
were the
up in
targets.
prison?
Yes, the two main kids who were the targets of this actually weren't their kids. It was like their sister's kid or some shit. So like it wasn't even like their kid. It's so fucked up. But yeah, actually I saw it real quick here. Philip DeFranco was actually one of the people who got them taken down.
Yeah, Philip DeFranco covered it
I remember that,
quite
yeah.
a lot.
I
I
knew about
think
them from
there were
Pyrocynical. There
multiple
were a lot of people.
episodes.
Yeah, but yeah. Had released a series of videos covering the channel and sharing this to the family. Yeah, 2017. But the Ruby Frank is another one of these types of people, and she like you can see the 8 passengers was her channel because she had 8 kids, or I think six kids, and she counted herself and her husband in that or something. Um, Arrested in Washington County, 6 counts of felon. Yeah, 6 kids then, and then her and her husband or her sister. Or, I don't know who the hell this is. 6 counts of felony aggravated child abuse against 2 of Frank's children. Frank ultimately pleaded guilty to 4 counts and was sentenced to 4 to 30 years in prison. Yeah, this channel was they did some insane shit like sending her child to a wilderness camp for troubled teens, threatening to behead stuffed toys, telling her 2 of her children that Santa Claus would not be bringing them any for Christmas that year. This is just stuff that was on camera, and like these kids are like fucking like 6 months old and shit. And, like, and she's like, "I'm bringing you to fucking wilderness survival camp at 6 years old." And then like in the background, she was like malnourishing her kids, emaciated, appeared duct tape wounds, open wounds and duct tape around extremities. Yeah, some like really fucked up shit. And also they're Mormons. I feel like that should be noted. They're Mormons.
I don't. Mormons are weird. I don't understand.
Oh, look at see also Daddy 05.
Yeah, well,
Yeah, absolutely.
it is in that genre. But
What don't you get about Mormons? I can help dispel some Mormon.
isn't Mormonism just like let's make Christianity American?
Pretty much. So it starts with
I
with
watched the South Park episode.
they probably do a better job than it that I could. But Joseph Smith found some golden plates that said, "Hey, these are like the new commandments. You need to like memorize these." And he was like, "Hey, everybody, look at these new things from God." And then everyone destroyed his golden tablets, and he's like, "Damn it!" And everyone's like, "Well, if the golden tablets were so special, surely you would know what they say." And he's like, "Of course I do." And then he made them, and he's like, "Look at my golden tablets." And then he's like, "Come on, guys, we need to move out to Utah." Well, actually, I skipped a couple years. They were doing their stuff, and then they got kicked out of the main United States, and then they moved to Utah because it was a territory. And that's where Brigham Young comes in, and he like kind of like makes Mormonism into a practical church, and then they basically just believe all of it. Basically, Mormonism is like, so you have the Old Testament, right, and then you have the New Testament. And then you have
And this is
the Third
the New
Testament,
Testament. Yeah, the
the
New
the
Testament.
New Testament. That's basically Mormonism.
There's just some weird shit in Mormonism, like
Jesus Christ
if I'm
visiting
not
America.
wrong, not just that, but like if I'm not wrong, like the women are supposed to wear pants.
Yeah, they used to believe in polyamory, but more in like what's the word?
Patriarchal sense,
Yeah, like what's the word though?
polygamy.
No. Like what's the like in Crusader Kings when you have multiple wives?
Yes, that's called polygamy.
No. When it's concubines, it's like in a concubine sort of way. That's the way they would do their polygamy.
Yes, but that's what I mean by patriarchal.
Yeah, but I wanted to find that word.
Like
I couldn't remember the word.
men basically having multiple wives, but the
Yeah,
wives are all,
they're all they don't really care about each other.
subservient to
Yeah,
the men.
they're not there for each other. They're all there for the guy. Um,
because obviously they're anti-LGBT, so the women aren't like together with each other. It's all just to serve the man. It's awful, it's
Yeah,
horrible, and I fucking hate it.
yeah.
I
They
mean,
they officially banned that in 1904, but then there's like several sects of Mormonism that have broken away to continue the practice of it.
yeah, because I mean, look, we haven't really brought it up much on the podcast, but like we're both poly,
Yeah,
but we don't believe in the idea of the OPP, you know, the one penis policy.
the one penis policy. Yeah, we have a three penis policy.
I mean, we just let the relationships evolve naturally, if that were a better way to put it.
There needs to be three penises minimum. Whether one person has three of them, that's okay. There just needs to be three in existence.
Yeah.
You can have them as like detachable like objects, but there needs to be three penises on the premises at all times.
Well, I mean, so that topic's gotten silly.
But no, like yeah, we're poly. We don't really talk about it a lot though, because I don't really know like how to like talk about it, because it's kind of like, oh, what's it like living on Earth? Uh, I don't know. I live here. Like it's just kind of like a thing in my life. It's like, yeah, I have two partners. One of them is on the podcast with me right now. Say hello. That's not hello. What the hell are you doing? What's that noise?
That's me saying,
It just sounds like you're being choked. Are you doing like gremlin noises?
kind of.
Uh,
It's not really translating well.
nah, Discord sucks. Wait, can you,
Discord does suck.
are you, how close are you to the mic? Try again. Like, eat the mic. There we go. That that one came through. See, this is my rat. You might not know it, audience, but we've been doing this podcast for 30 weeks, so but you better know the rat. I'm like rambling about nothing. A lot of that's getting cut out because that's just actually just brain dead babbling.
I mean, it happens from time to time. But speaking of things happening from time to time,
Yeah.
Trump is licking the toes of the nation,
Yeah, and you
of the
think that we're
king of the
joking?
nation.
You think that we're joking, but like look, there's like real footage. There's like real photo evidence of this. Look it. It's real. He's licking Elon's toes. I couldn't get the video in a news article, so I have to get the video like over here now. I love the music too. It's so triumphant.
I don't think these were hacked servers.
No, I don't think they were hacked.
Because what was it? The Department of Housing and Development?
Housing and Development, yeah. He's
So
I can't
they
wait.
were playing on the TVs in the Department of Housing and Development. And it really is so visceral. He's really going to town on them toes.
He really gets into
in
it.
there.
He does. He this is like how I fucking make out. Like he's like going in on them.
Elon has 2 left feet confirmed.
I love this video of Elon too because he's just such an uncharismatic guy, and of course he wears these shirts that are just full of text that you have to like squint to read, and be like, hey man, can you stop moving for a second so I could read your shirt? This this outfit's horrible. He's wearing a suit coat jacket that is way too big.
High off his fucking balls.
He's absolutely destroyed on ketamine right now. He's got his dark MAGA woke hat. He's got these like Cyclops fucking like aviators coming on. He's got a giant gold chain. He's got this huge shirt with way too much text, a big Texan belt, and then like trousers. I can't even see his shoes, but I guarantee you he's wearing something fucking stupid.
Dark MAGA hat.
Yeah, he's wearing like look at his toes, look like actual like triangles. This is like this is like such a horrible fit. This is like how like so like my one of my professors dresses like shit ironically to like just be casual about it, and this is like he's trying to dress shit. This is just him trying to look cool, and he looks like worse than my professor, who wears like a fucking a Detroit Lions hat with jeans and a suit jacket. This is worse somehow.
Well, I mean, like the thing That's
Ah,
he's so bad.
ah. The chainsaw.
With who's that?
Millet.
Millet?
Javier Millet of Argentina.
Like it's not even an entertaining amount of drugs. It's just all of the bad shit.
I think
But this
there's
toe licking thing is amazing to me because it really does highlight the the thoughts of the American people in a big way right now. And on the topic of Musk, it's
1 second before we move
just
off the
very
feeling of the American people. I just want to look up his approval rating at the moment. Holds steady at 44%. Oh. Okay, so what do Americans think of the president's performance? Okay, so we have Trump over here. We have Biden right here. So at the start of Trump's term, he was at the start of where he was at this first term, and he's already dipped. He's already begun to dip, which is normal, but like Biden had like an increase until actually I think this was Afghanistan here. This must have been like Biden inflation rhetoric, and then Israel is
but you
around
see a
here.
lot of the stuff that tanked Biden's approval rating was right-wing propaganda, in my opinion. Look, this
Yeah,
is my opinion
yeah. That's
purely,
basically
but
all of
I
this
do
was because
think
of right wing propaganda. I feel because this
that's
this is this is
pure
Israel.
right-wing
The
propaganda.
second half of Biden's presidency, I feel, was mostly his fault, but the first half was full of a lot of right wing propaganda. Um, because a lot of it was like, because you could see like the economy stuff is corresponding directly with the slump, and all that economy stuff was incredibly blown out of proportion. Um, but yeah, Trump's economy stuff has already dipped so bad, and it started below Biden's. Like, it's kind of crazy. People don't like Trump as president. It's kind of crazy. It's what I don't know how
But I
I don't know why
mean,
we voted for him.
the approval being 44%, that means that there's at least a 44% pure MAGA block, right?
Yeah, I'm curious.
In the polling.
I want to see what like previous presidential approval ratings first
That's a
100
concerning
days.
amount, though. I mean,
Yeah.
we've reached the point of, you know,
So
a fascist ASMR. We've reached the point of like
in Trump's first term, he had a 41% approval rating overall, but his initial approval was 45. Um, so I believe the highest, so on this list here, the highest initial approval rating would be JFK. Um, at 72%. So this is what like a really liked president looks like. So if he's at 44 now, then he's like doing the same as he did in the first term, which is a good sign because the first term was like kind of bad for him. Like he didn't get a lot done and stuff, and like people really opposed him, and there was a lot of protests for stuff he did. So like, I don't know, maybe that corresponds to something.
what's really concerning is Trump's response to the approval rating.
Yeah, he just doesn't give a fuck.
It's not even not giving a fuck. It's completely just not accepting reality because he's going around saying things like, I have the highest approval
Yeah,
rating. I am like, there's no, it's part of a constant push by the right where they just say things and they don't need to back anything up, even if there is evidence pointing to the contrary. They'll just say, "Well, that's not true. I have the highest approval rating,"
absolutely.
or
It's
"That's not true. The American people love this." Like while they're having town halls where people are throwing things at
yeah.
Republicans, people are pissed off and shouting and screaming, and then they say like, "No, well, you actually like this, and this is just like fake." Like, what are you fucking talking about?
I think a lot of Republicans are acting like they don't have to seek re-election. Like they're just acting so in the moment and so like short term that it makes me think that a lot of them are prepared to not have a democracy. Like a lot of them are just like, yeah, we're the dictators now. We don't need to worry about public approval because there's no elections now. Like I feel like that's what a lot of them think in their head.
Yeah, but this is the final push, isn't it?
Yeah, it
This
is.
is this
Yeah.
is the final push. I mean, do we have a picture of that placard that was at CPAC?
I don't. CPAC placard. I don't know which one you're talking about. I didn't see this.
One where it was like let me see if I
Third term
can.
project. I found a
Yeah,
third.
third term
I found a
project
sticker
with
for it.
that's not the
Third term project CPAC. Here, let's see what NBC has to say on this. This thing? Oh my god.
yes, that's what I'm talking
Oh,
about.
oh my
From
lord.
2828 and beyond. Just think about the statement there. It's not just Trump 2028. We aren't just talking 3 terms here. This is the final push. You are losing democracy in the USA. This was at CPAC. This is why they don't care. This is why they're not worried about re-election, because the election is going to be a foreign fucking word in the USA. Your elections are going to be tantamount to the same thing as they are in China. Do you know how the Chinese government gets elected?
They elect by only having one person run.
Not just that. They only have one party.
Yeah,
And the leader of the country is voted for not by the people,
by the
but
people in the
by
party. Party like officiates.
like it's it's happening in the US. It's exactly what Trump wants. It's exactly what the Republicans want.
Yeah,
Like
it's
Trump 2028 and beyond.
and beyond. Yeah, no,
Donald Trump on the $250 bill.
it's incredibly incredibly grim, and I just want to say I told you so to the world at large. No one in particular, just um I've been saying this for probably like 2 years now, that Trump is just a Nazi and all these people are Nazis. And they called us madmen. They called us insane. And look at where we are now.
You want to know what really
uh,
might become a horrifying thing? And here's just me theory crafting here,
yeah, destroy my
right?
brain. Yeah.
This might destroy your soul.
Yeah.
What
Probably.
happens when MAGA is seen as worse than the Nazis?
Uh, and then we get some real interesting trials.
Like when the history books start talking about the rise of fascism in the early 1900s and goes, and then 100 years later, it got worse.
Then I get some. I just hope I survive that so that I can like give some cool like survivor stories. You know. Did I tell you about the time that I talked about doing violent revolution in a Discord server, and then went and ate a piece of bread and fell asleep in my bed?
Like,
I'm a real revolutionary.
here's the thing though. South Africa is really good about taking people in. That's all I'm gonna say.
The Rainbow
So
Nation.
here's some upsides and downsides. The downside is we've had the same political party in the country ever since we've had free and fair elections. The upside to that is it's more because of emotional voting than like the party being actively evil, you know, oligarchs.
Other downside, one of the most corrupt countries I could move to.
Excuse me, but I think that we're being overtaken.
Yeah, there might be a new rising contender just overseas. If we're talking about like
Like,
foreign money, then like America right now just got like a fucking huge like undisclosed dump truck full of Russian rubles just dumped in the backyard of the White House, and everyone's like, "Don't look at this."
yeah, look, the Russian oligarchs are going to be able to buy gold cards now.
Gold cards, yes, the gold cards. So,
Gold cards.
I yeah, I
You know
feel like
what's really
I should have brought that
concerning
one up
about
also.
gold cards?
Yeah, what about it? Tell me.
the way Trump described it, right, is that it's going to be like green card plus.
The plus.
And what's concerning is the plus, is the you will have more. There's going to be concessions made for you for getting the gold card. And it's very clearly aimed at foreign oligarchs.
It's aimed at Russian oligarchs and like Saudi oil princes. That's who this is for. Why is RFK here for this? Howard Leutner makes sense. He's the head of commerce. But why the fuck is RFK here?
RFK is like unironically becoming the third horseman of the apocalypse, fucking pestilence.
He unironically is.
Like there's a measles outbreak. They got fucking the pox there in the US.
Yeah, all in Texas.
And RFK is just like, we'll be following it. Like it's a fucking social media post.
Looking into this.
I remember his words. His words at one point were, we'll be following this. And I'm just like, this isn't a fucking social media post. It's your goddamn job.
The American people don't deserve to be poisoned by vaccines pushed by crooked mega corporations that put chemicals in our body. And you should eat red meat and roadkill. And you should put bleach in your skin.
The brainworms came from eating the fucking roadkill.
Exactly.
That's how you get fucking diseases and shit.
Yeah, he like literally was like scraping up raccoons off the side of the road and being like, "Yummy cuisine. A meal for me is a meal for three because of my brainworms in my head."
It's one thing after another. I mean, one of my favorite online news outlets didn't even release an episode this week because it's just like there's so much.
Which one was that?
Much happening. Some more news with Cody
Really?
Johnson.
Oh, I didn't even notice.
They released a podcast episode themselves and they mentioned in there, like, you know, they had a lot of stuff written for the episode and they had like a lot of stuff, but it wasn't in a place, so they needed to put more and refine it. But they do try to get as much, but it's just not.
Yeah,
it's not working.
It's just a flood.
Is unironically becoming more of a fucking problem to the US than even COVID was.
Yeah, like COVID like halted the economy. And it made people fucking paranoid as hell, and mass hysteria was all about and stuff. But like this is like a different kind of hysteria. You have like the president crashing the economy without actually needing to crash the economy because he's threatening to crash the economy. And that alone is enough to crash the economy. It's crazy. Like he's like, oh, the tariffs are coming. Never mind. Yes, they are. Never mind. And doing that alone is causing businesses not to do fucking business with America because it's like, well, you're gonna tariff us if you're gonna put the tariffs up.
But people like Marjorie Taylor Greene saying things like federal workers are not real workers.
Yeah, you have fucking like actual.
They need to go and get real jobs. It's like they are the people.
You are the federal worker.
You. That's also part of the fucking insanity of it, right? Is she's a federal worker. She's not doing a real job.
They want to say
research for her own job.
They want to say the Jews so bad. They want to say the N-word so bad. You know they want to get up on stage and just scream, "These Jewish N-words are ruining the country." You know that's what they want to say.
They're doing it in everything but that. I mean, they're using all the slurs they can get away with.
Yeah, like Nancy Mace. Mace. I don't want to say the slurs, obviously, but like she dropped the T slur like 4 times on the Senate floor, and just no one gave a fuck about it. Like they want to so badly just do Nazi Germany-esque fucking speeches where they're talking about the scourge of the people
that were in German Nazi speeches, like the enemy within. I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah, yeah,
look,
yeah.
that's been an old line of theirs, but now like they're in power and they're enacting the enemy within sort of rhetoric on a practical basis.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
not just rhetoric anymore. It's being done.
And it's being done in the most fucking like literally like an axe just tearing at the walls, like we'll find them eventually, just tearing up everything. And people eat it up and clap because they're so stupid that they're just like, yeah, this is what we wanted. This is revolutionary change. This is anti-establishment action. Is when you become the establishment and fire everyone in the government. Let's look at something stupid. Let's look at another thing they did that's stupid. Did you see that the White House Twitter account posted ASMR of deportations?
I did see this.
I saw this like last Wednesday, yeah, yesterday, I guess. But I didn't know this is from fucking February 18th. So this is like
Yeah, this is an old
old.
story
I didn't
already.
know this though. This passed me. I
You
didn't see
haven't been
this.
keeping up. This is why I have my news sources.
No,
This
this
is
one just
so
slipped
far
through the
back.
cracks. This one just slipped through the cracks though. I just want to see this because this is fucked up.
It's loud.
ASMR. Oh, it's loud. Sorry. What's ASMR? Like here's some fucking chains and shit. And it's
Here
like,
you have the
ooh.
sound of fascism. This is what you voted for.
ASMR of a concentration camp, people being led to the camps right now. That's literally what this is.
This is what Nazi Germany would have done with Twitter.
Yeah, I mean, it's so unashamedly evil. This is one of the most disgusting things I've ever seen posted by uh, an official government account ever. Like that is like unapologetically one of the most disgusting things ever.
And Trump's words about like, oh, we're only sending the worst of the worst. They've looked into some of the people that have been sent off to Guantanamo, and like most of them don't have criminal records at all. They have none,
Of course they
nothing.
don't. Of course they don't.
Like, where's the worst of the worst? I mean, it's the same thing as this waste, fraud, and abuse thing, right? Like where they keep saying, "Oh, we're finding all this waste, fraud, and abuse," but you ask them to point to it, and they're like vaguely gesturing
It's
at at piles and piles and piles of paperwork, which is mostly blank, I imagine.
Yeah, I think the craziest part about all of this is that it's partially like a conceited effort to control the government and fascism, and another part of it's just pure stupidity, because things like disbanding U.S. aid have no reason to like happen. Like, there's no reason for a fascist government to stop like influencing other countries in the world other than that they're stupid. Like the
Yeah, but
power that you get out of US aid of having the influence over other countries to like
think of it this way, right? What was USAID helping with before?
it was helping with a lot of African countries and fucking Asian countries and shit.
Yes, but like medical
Oh yeah, yeah, that's
stuff,
specifically, yeah, it was
you
medical
know,
stuff, it was education, it
things
was
for
like infrastructure building.
education, infrastructure building, stuff like that. No, that's not the type of US aid that they want to do. So here's my theory, is that they're taking apart USA to take away all of that stuff. Because the next step is to have foreign aid and foreign investiture in things like foreign militaries and foreign
Oh.
dictatorships and foreign oligarchies. Because that's where the next step comes. Build up the coalition of dictatorial power, right?
Yeah, 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 that makes sense.
So why would we help this poor suffering country in Africa that's not going to give us anything when we could be bolstering support for people like
Like
Malay,
Boko Haram or some shit.
Boko Haram, like Russia, like the fact that here's the thing, right? Let's use the war in Ukraine as an example. So America is threatening Ukraine with give us your mineral resources
Mhm.
or suffer,
Mhm.
right? But if they get the mineral resources of Ukraine, who do you think is going to be shipping that stuff out for them?
The Russians.
There we go. So it's got less to do with the fact of getting rid of foreign influence and changing what that foreign influence looks like.
That's very true. Like I hadn't really considered the fact that a lot of the U.S. aid withdrawals, like the money coming out of U.S. aid, could go into the MIC, military industrial complex, like paying off like contractors to have them do like aid programs and stuff, so that we can basically do what we do to Israel, but for like dozens of other countries too. That would be this. That would
Exactly.
be exactly the goal they're going for. I hadn't really considered it like that. I kind of just considered it as like a desperate, like a vengeful, like Elon pulling it because they're brown people in foreign countries, which definitely
No,
is a part of
because
it. I'm sure for some of them,
it is a part of it, but look at it this way, right? Like here we have once again the people forgetting the invisible hand.
the military industrial complex.
It's not even the military industrial complex as you think of it in a traditional sense. It's not even them. It's Trump is a face.
Hmm.
Very clearly he is now very obviously a face for Elon, but even Elon doesn't really understand what he's doing. He's being led around by the nose by Republican and well, not even Republican, right wing,
Hmm.
alternative right wing. Because let's be honest here, let's actually separate some shit out for once. Let's clear up a few things that I think that a lot of the media is getting wrong. This is not a Republican effort. This is not about Republicans anymore. The alt-right has infiltrated and successfully won within the Republican Party. Remember, what was stopping Trump in the first term was what they'd call old Republicans.
The rhinos, Republicans in name only, as I would call them.
Right. So people like the
Mitch
vice
McConnell,
president at the
Mike
time,
Pence, yeah.
Mitch Mike Pence, Mitch McConnell, those people, the actual Republicans. Now look, I don't look upon those people favorably, but they were what they were and they believed what they believed and they actually believed a lot of the things they said. It wasn't great things, it wasn't things I agree with, but we are no longer talking about Republicans anymore. Those are a dying breed. What we have today is the alt-right who have co-opted the Republican Party. So what we're talking about is no longer a Republican issue. So now what the alt-right is doing is you have people on the back end, you know, who 10 years ago were sitting on 4chan.
Right.
What's the guy Voight? What's his
Yeah,
name?
John, the head of the Project 2025.
Right,
Yeah,
who
John
was one
Voight.
of the
John
main
Vought.
authors
It's
of
Vought.
Voight,
Voight
John
is the
Vought,
actor.
who was one of the main authors of Project 2025. You
Yeah.
don't see his name come up in a lot of these stories, do you?
No,
You don't
no.
see his name come up in the
Not since the
media very
election.
often, do you?
Not since
What
the
you
election.
do see is the things that he wrote about, the things that he spoke about, the things that he believed are coming to reality because it's not about Trump anymore. He's just a very populist face.
Yeah, yeah. It's
When you
it's
look at interviews with Trump, when you look at the Trump, like the answers Trump gives when he's asked about things, it's very clear that either he's completely detached from reality
or he
or
doesn't give
he
a fuck
is
anymore.
just saying what he's being told to say. And it's the invisible hand behind all of that. That's my
I think it's a
belief.
mixture of
This
those
is
last two there. He's like both losing his mind and he's also just saying what he's told to say.
Yeah, but the mind losing part is things that they agree with anyway. Because he is that evil and that like he is part of that alternative right wing. He has been for years, ever since Obama came to power and he was shouting about fucking Kenya. Like,
You know who actually started the Kenya stuff? So quick side note, it was actually Hillary Clinton's campaign in 2008 who started that.
that doesn't surprise me.
She's
The
so
Clintons are
racist.
part of the old guard in many
Hmm.
ways, and I don't like familial presidencies,
Hmm.
if you get me.
Yeah, yeah.
Like the Bushes, George Bush Senior Bush Sr. went to go have a war in the Middle East.
And then Bush
Then,
Jr.
when
followed.
he came out of power, suddenly there was no issue with the Middle East. Peace talks were there, pulling troops out, no longer being as involved as they were. And then as soon as Bush Jr. comes into power, bam, Middle East is a big fucking problem again. It is these familial, like, presidencies
Mm.
that are part of the problem. And and the Clintons, Democrat or not, are part of that problem.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. The Democrats don't recognize the danger that's right in front of them. They're like looking straight at a fucking like a leopard looking at them right in the eyes, and they don't recognize that the leopard's like about to fucking eat their face. Like,
Yeah, but the Democrats are part of the same system, is inherently the biggest part of the problem, because all the way back in, I think this was like the 90s. I don't know if you know Jello Biafra.
yeah, I know Jello Biafra. He's the lead singer of the Kennedys.
Right. So I actually had a CD of Jello Biafra, not a music CD, a political sort of, you could say, speech of some kind,
Oh, interesting.
or like what you'd imagine like a stand-up gig. Like it was just this long audio of him talking about politics, talking about belief systems, talking about ideologies. I should actually find it
I would
again.
love to hear
And do
that.
you know what he said all the way back then?
What do you say?
America is a one-party state masquerading as a two-party state, because both the Republicans and the Democrats are bought out by businesses,
Yeah, both of them answer to the same uh
corporate interests.
the corporate. That's why a lot of fucking bills that go by that are like, hey, let's cut the taxes, have like no pushback by anyone. It's like, yeah, it's because everyone's fucking getting the same advisors to be like, hey, you need to fucking put this bill through. We're not gonna fund your next campaign run. Is it?
Exactly. So, like, you can say that the Democrats, oh, they have these progressive things and they have that, but it's all the illusion of choice, because look at how late, if the Democrats are really so progressive, why did it take so long to get gay marriage to be an actual issue for them? Why did it take so long for actual progressive things to become an issue? Why did it take so long for any of these progressive leaning things to happen? Because the priority was on corporate interests. It was always like this. Right
Always.
now, what you have is a symptom of that system. It's not even like, as I said, the Republicans have been playing evil. This goes all the way back to like pre-Reagan days.
Mm. Yeah, like this dates back all the way to fucking like the goddamn Gilded Age back in the late 1800s, when that's basically around the time when corporations kind of bought out the government for the most part. Like Gilded Age, the Roaring everything up until like the Great Depression, it was basically controlled by people like um by oh fuck, I forgot his name, Rockefeller,
Yeah.
um
Because as
the
far as I understand, all the way back in
I
like
forgot his name.
the late 1920s, 1930s, there was a large contingency of the US within the government, including, that were pretty sympathetic towards the Germans.
Can you say what time period that was again? I blanked out for a second.
Like the late 1920s,
Oh yeah, yeah,
1930s.
yeah. Because a lot of the well, a lot of that's also because a lot of people at the time were German immigrants.
Right.
So
So
that was also a thing
so
in World
I
War
mean,
One, like the 1900s, like the early before we joined World War Two. There was a lot of pro-German sentiment. But then,
exactly. So
when FDR came around, quick side note about the corporations taking over and like everyone answering to it, FDR was like openly antagonistic to a lot of like business CEOs and stuff, to the point that they tried to kill him. There's the business plot, which was an assassination attempt, like a coup attempt by a bunch of like billionaires, no, not billionaires, they're millionaires at the time, who planned to. I'm gonna pull it up real quick. Business plot. It was a plan to kill FDR and assume the presidency. and it was thwarted, luckily, and it was in 1933. Here's the Smedley Butler, and this is the guy they wanted to put in charge. And it was testified to HUAC. Yeah, this whole thing here. There's a whole stuff here people can read about on it.
Yeah, but I
It's
think
crazy.
one of the
White
most
House
telling
putsch.
things, right, is that during World War II, there were obviously multiple countries that were part of the Axis powers, right?
Mm-hmm.
But when America entered into the war, the only people they put in the camps were the Japanese, not the
Yeah,
Germans, not the Italians,
yeah.
Japanese.
That was also because of a huge resentment towards the Asian immigrants that had been present for like 50 years at that point. So it's like so much of that
But
hatred already built up, and then
you
like
do
the
see
Germans
the
don't get any of that
the
treatment.
exactly. You see the fact that the Germans weren't treated that way, even though they were unquestionably the worst of the entire group of the
Yeah,
Axis powers.
I mean,
Like, look,
but those Japanese
Japan
were doing some
during
fucking
the
horrible shit to the
Axis years,
Chinese.
the Japanese during the Axis years were undeniably fucking evil,
They
right?
really do
Like,
give the Germans a run
looking
for
at
their
what they
money.
did in China and in the sort of all of those nations and islands and everything that, you know, trying to make the Japanese empire, the Germans were far worse.
Yeah, maybe just like ideologically, so they were worse. Like I don't know. There's a lot to be said about that. I don't want to put two bad bitches against each other though. They can both be bad bitches. I feel like we've kind
And
of got off the point.
but that's the thing is like that's what's happening. There's so
Yeah.
much happening all at once. You can't stay on the point because if you focus on down on like one thing, what you end up with is missing 9 other things. I mean, even people who are doing daily news shows, even people who are doing 40-minute daily news updates are finding that there isn't enough time.
Are you ready for the economy to collapse, bro? Like this is crazy. Like we're gonna have like I'm imagining like already newsrooms are overworked with all the shit that's coming in. People are like fucking like there's a million things happening a second. So there's a lot of already confusion and chaos. But then like imagine that when things actually start to be like wheelbarrows of cash for a loaf of bread type shit.
Yeah, well, I mean, look,
That'll
we
probably be
saw
the
that
end of
in
the.
Zimbabwe, but
But
here's the
that's
other side
Zimbabwe.
of it,
This is
is like
America.
you're talking about newsrooms and all that. At least they're fed the information they're supposed to be saying. Because did you see the recent post that Jeff Bezos put out?
Yeah, where he was like, "Yeah, we're just gonna be unashamedly
We're,
partisan
we're
now."
just right wing now,
Yeah, we're
like
just we're
publicly
just right
just
wingers.
saying it, just saying like we're just going to be conservative right wing pundits now.
Yeah, not even hiding it.
So at least the big newsrooms. This is why I don't fucking follow those people anymore. This is why I don't look at that shit anymore. I go for independent news sources. Yes, they're a lot smaller. Yes, they struggle to keep up with all of the various things happening, but they are putting in real effort and thinking
I
about the
think
people that are being affected.
I think if you because there is a level of necessity to a lot of big organizations because they have the pull to get a lot of stuff done. I think if you want to still go for those big sources, go for the ones that were banned from the White House. So AP News, Reuters, Al Jazeera, stuff like those people.
The
They
thing
were
is that
literally
you
banned
have to
from the White House.
understand you still have to understand where you're getting your news from, right?
Hmm.
Like where is Al Jazeera based?
I believe the Middle East.
So you are
I
getting
don't know where in.
certain flavor.
Yeah, Al Jazeera mostly is international news. I follow for, especially that stuff involving Israel.
Yes, but you are getting certain flavor.
Yeah, I
You
don't
you
I
you
don't
are
just
getting
go.
certain,
I look. I'm not.
but you get the point I'm saying.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
don't just go and say, okay, these are reliable news sources.
They're more
Understand where
reliable.
those news sources are
They're
coming from.
yeah. They're
Understand who owns them. Understand who who has the keys to the real stuff in the back end.
Yeah, that's a
Because
very
that's the
important part of it.
world we live in today. You can't just rely on, oh, this news source. If the news source is talking about something that it has a horse in, like somebody pointed me to a news source out of India, right?
Right.
And it's like, this is a well-known and respected news source. It's one of the
Like
biggest.
India Times.
I don't think it's India Times. I
That's
don't
the one I
remember
always
their
see.
name. But when you start looking at like the people who own that and the people on top of that, and it's like the holding company and all of that bullshit, you start seeing like, oh, these are all just the same recognizable names I'm seeing in like Fox News.
Yeah, the company that owns Fox News owns like 1 billion news organizations. Pretty much every right wing news organization is owned by them. At least that's what it feels like.
So I think that what's more important is for people to start being discerning for themselves, because you can't be pointed at a news source and be told that they're trustworthy.
Right.
Like there's a few online, as I said, independent, self-funded, not owned by holding companies, not owned by other people who are doing this themselves. But once you start growing into like, oh, a network of a news organization, like start being fucking discerning people. Like actually look at what you're looking at. Don't just take things at face value.
Right.
Like there'll be news sources that are saying things, oh, this state did this or this state did that. And you'll be like, oh, but that is the truth. But then you'll look at 3 other articles and you'll see, oh, okay, now. So you have to be really fucking discerning. That's what's making this so difficult, is the amount of misinformation, disinformation, and propaganda. That's the 3 big words of the day, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because you can have a completely 100% truthful article that's still leaning to one side.
Yeah, it just depends on how the information is delivered. Like you could say, like, oh, the fucking hospital bombed. Hospital explosion, accusations of nuclear, not nuclear, accusations of missiles being used on a hospital to make it explode. Who did it? Who knows? Or it's like, hospital bombed, culprit pending. And it's like, well, they give you the same information, but one of them's like fucking beating around the bush and like not telling you directly anything.
Exactly. So it really does come down to those 3 things, right? Understand what is disinformation, understand what is misinformation, and understand what is just straight fucking propaganda. And at the end of the day, when you look at the actual meaning of propaganda, almost all news falls under that purview.
Oh, absolutely.
You just have to decide what is. It's not even you have to decide. It's like you have to investigate. Every single person needs to start investigating what they're reading, because even people, even sources that are coming out as staunchly left wing, they have a narrative.
Yeah. I think everything has a narrative, everything has a bias. There's always going to be that. You can't get around it. And I think the only way you can work around it is just by recognizing what is a biased statement, what is like a statement that has like a narrative behind it, and then getting the information out of that and forming your own opinion and being able to
Just
like
look,
work the best you can around the bias. I think it's okay to have a bias because it's natural, it's
yes, but
human.
it depends on the bias, right?
Yeah.
So here's my one big piece of advice. Here's my one flat piece of advice that you can take to just about every single article you read. Ask yourself one question when reading the article. What is the purpose of this news?
The purpose of the news is to tell me what stock to buy. And as you can see, it's all crashing.
The economy's dead. If only. I'm lightheaded.
Yeah, because this shit is absolutely draining, and it's maddening, and it's It kills the soul. This is the soul of the world dying. This is exactly what drives me to want to live in like
The
a
woods.
cottage in the forest.
Yeah, but that's like
Just do witchcraft and become like a forest witch.
I think that's like the leftist version of a survivalist doomsday fantasy.
Oh, very much so. I mean, look, I do. Here's the thing: is I'm currently in the camp of I fully understand people who feel that right now,
I'm
but
like
I'm
5 steps
also
away from being a
understanding of
doomsday
the
prepper.
I'm also understanding of the fact that it's not helpful.
Yeah,
That's not helpful.
yeah.
As much as I can understand the feeling, and very much I get the feeling of that sometimes myself, it's not helpful.
It's generally not a healthy thing for a society to be full of people who want to be away from the society. It's
Yeah,
typically a sign that things aren't going too good. Though I
yeah.
will say, like, damn, if I could have like a big secure compound and like not have to like worry and like I just sit in the compound and have food that's like grown and I'm like eat it and then I play video games all day, like that's pretty damn cool.
Yeah, but you're not going to be allowed to do that in your country.
No, it'll be illegal to play video games and eat yummy foods.
It'll be illegal to be off the grid.
Nah, it'll be illegal
If you're
to.
not feeding into the greatest system of America's 53 states,
Yeah, because it's Canada, Greenland, and Panama. No, Europe. The state of Europe.
speaking of Europe,
We talk about
there's a
Ukraine?
statement there's a statement that Trump made that really fucking bothers me.
Which one? He's made a lot of statements that bother me.
Yeah, that's kind of the problem. He says that the EU was formed just to fuck over America.
I mean, if so, based. If not, that's reality.
No, I can tell. Listen, Donald, the reason the EU was formed is because Europe is a conglomerate of a lot of actually kind of small countries outside of France.
Outside of France and Germany, Europe is kind of like a nothing continent in the modern day. Like, there's really
Yeah,
like
but even so, when you
nothing.
talk about just size, pure size,
Oh yeah,
right?
no, yeah.
Germany is small.
Germany,
France is the only big country in Europe.
Germany's like a medium-sized country. France is a big country. France
Yeah,
is a
like
lot bigger than I think it is every
France
single
is
time.
quite fucking big.
France. Paris is the biggest city in Europe.
But Germany is look, it's very productive. It's filled with Germans. And we'll joke about Germans and Nazis all we want, but that's not how they are today. Let's
Now
just
they're leather
admit that
daddies in
fact.
Berlin.
Okay, so the AFD is obviously
Oh, we didn't even talk about the
it's
AfD.
long, it's growing, but
The elections there.
Germany as a culture, when taken as a generalization, because remember, once again, it's a lot of people. But when you generalize down and simplify, Germany is the only country in the world that just said, you know what, free speech is nice and all, but if you bring your Nazi shit here, we will throw you in prison.
They say that on paper, but then they let the
Yeah, but
AfD.
it has been.
It has
Remember, a lot
happened,
of
yeah.
people. There was a period of time where the AfD was being investigated, and they did prosecute.
Yeah, yeah. They should
So
have like cracked it down though, like instantly.
they
But
should have cracked it down. But then again, it's
liberals,
in situations like that, it is incredibly difficult to balance the ideology of free speech with people who actively lie and dog whistle.
I think it's okay, and it's pro democracy and pro free speech to silence people who are anti democracy and anti free speech.
But
I
you
think
you
that's
run
okay.
into but you do understand the difficult line you're drawing there, right?
I
Like you
understand.
do understand the incredible difficulty with doing that in practice.
I
Because
understand.
it's not like the AFD is walking around with Nazi armbands and sich heiling all the fucking time.
Yes, but then as soon as you find out that a lot of their leaders, like, I feel like if they actually, like, if the AFD was in its infancy, right? When the AFD was in its infancy and the government was just like, you're done, goodbye, and they were like, see guys, like, we found some Nazi group, I don't think anyone would have given a shit in Germany if it didn't had a chance to grow. And it's like, it's just another Nazi organization getting stamped out. But because it
But
had a chance
remember
to, like, oh no,
when
we're not Nazis.
every action has a reaction. And if you did stamp out the AFD in its infancy, another group would have taken its place and been even more sort of undercover about their beliefs or their close links to certain problematic beliefs.
Yeah, but we didn't.
You understand, like every action has a reaction.
Yeah, but
Even
we don't know
look,
that. Like, we don't know that would be the
200
case.
years, 200 years after the Civil War, you still have people flying Old Glory.
Yeah, because of we mentioned it last episodes, because just successful propaganda to make it seem like it's not a symbol of hate.
Exactly. So it's all about the fact that once even if you stamped out a group completely, it's the idea of you cannot kill ideas. You can kill all the people. You can completely wipe out the people. You can say this group is gone or this group is no longer legal. Those people who hold those ideas still go somewhere. Those ideas live on, even if it is just teaching their kids to be racist. Look, that's a problem we have in South Africa as well, where there is very obviously a large contingency of white South Africans who are racist, who are pro-Trump, and what do? They teach their children those things. Those ideas don't die.
Yeah, it's really hard to kill off hate. There's after I was discussing this in my Holocaust history class just the other day. We were talking about how virulent the propaganda was. It was like 12 years of Nazi propaganda, especially to children. That shit's not going away after like 3 years of denazification. Like, that shit stays, it lingers, and then it evolves and just becomes just always there. It's hard to kill hate like that, especially when it's being taught and taught and taught and taught. Get me?
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, we are damn near 100 years away from Nazi Germany,
Yeah.
and it's still there.
Yeah.
It's still there 100 years later.
Yeah. Well,
Nazi Germany still exists in the minds of the people of the AFD and their followers.
or at least they want it to exist again.
But remember what I'm saying is like they in their minds.
Yeah. It's just fucking miserable. Miserable is like my catchphrase. I say that word a lot. I used to not say that word a lot, but then there's been a lot of reason to say that word a lot. Want to
So
talk?
that's what we're coming to.
Want to talk about the AI Gaza video?
Dear fucking goodness.
Oh, this one's a new thingy. This one isn't like
Oh, it's
something we
fairly
relate to.
new.
This is from yesterday or 2 days ago. Or it is from yesterday.
Giant golden statue of Donald Trump.
Yeah, so let's play the this
Oh,
was posted to
I will say before we play, right? If you scroll back up and get that image, that statue of Trump there, here's a reality that people who want to play dictator need to face. At some point, some motherfuckers are gonna pull that down. You build that statue, not a chance in hell that thing's standing.
Fucking Saddam Hussein statue coming down.
Exactly. You want to play dictator? You have to at some point accept the reality that that statue is coming down, and it's coming down violently. I cannot fucking
That
wait.
Saddam Hussein video really is like one of the most like iconic videos ever to be recorded. It's like a really like well like framed video. Like there's the whole statue's like in focus. They never fucking, that's like a good cameraman moment. Good cameraman. Anyway, here is the Truth Social post from Donald Trump about Gaza and AI. Have you seen this before?
Yes.
Okay, good. So Truth Social's music audio slider is horrible.
Remember that.
I think this is AI music, but I'm gonna. Yeah, Trump balloon. Oh my god, I'm just getting ideas for the fucking my cyberpunk story I'm gonna make. You gotta have AI ads that look like this. Look at that. Trump and Netanyahu in this giant resort.
That
Trump
image
Gaza.
alone. That image alone of Trump and Netanyahu with a sign that says Trump Gaza. That image alone is exactly what they're aiming for.
It's real fucked up. Like, just like I thought when I saw that there was a headline like I thought it was like an edited headline when it was like Trump set to take control of the Gaza Strip. I thought that was a joke, but then there's like actual talks to have America occupy the fucking Gaza Strip. It is like when October 7th happened, and I can't believe it was 2023 that this all started. This all kicked up. Because it's 2025 now. Like, when it started, I was like, oh, damn, there's just some, like, border conflict in Israel again. And then, like, a month goes out, and it's like, damn, this is, like, the pretext for them to wipe out Gaza. And then it continues for a year, and you're just like, oh, my God, this is, like, never going to end. They're never going to just finish this. This is going to not end until casinos start getting built up. Like, this is, like, there was a point where they just dropped the pretext, they just dropped the defense, and I think that's whenever the actual like invasion itself stopped, because like when they stopped pushing, when there was no more land for them to push through, I think that's when they just gave up on the idea of this being a justifiable thing, because it's also at that point where I just stopped hearing about like justifications, and it was just, oh, we don't really know if the IDF actually like did this. We just like, that's like kind of maybe they did that. I don't know. It'll just be like, oh, here they just gunned down someone from Sky.
Because you know what part of it is it's not even that. It's the fact that even now, even with Gaza basically being a fucking hole in the ground, the justification has not changed. We must eliminate Hamas.
Yeah.
That's it. And Hamas is what, like 3 dudes in a room at this point?
And they're all in like Abu Dhabi.
Like they're not in Gaza.
I just want to see. This is from the UNRWA. This is from UNRWA, of the United Nations. I just want to see what they have to say about the amount of killed. Situation report on the humanitarian crisis in the Gaza Strip and West Bank. UNRWA situation has this is an image. Over 586,000 displaced people returned to North Gaza. This isn't a dead. 6 newborns reportedly died from extreme cold weather on the 24th, 25th. Polio vaccines. This is like recent stuff. I don't know. Wait. Around 1.9 million, or about 90%, have been displaced during the war from the Gaza Strip. The Gaza Strip is full of a little over 2 million people. So this amount of people, 1.9 million people being displaced. That's 2 million people essentially. The Holocaust killed
The
6
other
million
10% are
Jews.
dead.
The Holocaust killed 6 million Jews. Just for the comparison of scale, 1.9 million people. That is more people than live in a borough of New York City. That's more people who live in Manhattan. That's more people who live in the Bronx. If you live, it's like the entire population of Manhattan being forced to leave their home. Imagine that.
Yeah.
That's how many people were displaced, and there's more that have been killed. At least 48,000 Palestinians have been killed, and 111,000 have been injured.
Those aren't even the real numbers.
Yeah, no,
Those
this
are
is underestimates, absolutely, because these are
100% underestimates.
This comes from the Israeli government themselves.
Oh, if this comes from the Israeli government,
because it's the ministry. I'm pretty sure it does, because this is the Ministry of Health in
underestimate.
Gaza, which this would be Israel. I'm pretty sure, because it's the Ministry of Health in Gaza.
So that's absolutely like a fraction of what they've actually murdered out there.
It's definitely closer to this number and killed. I'm pretty sure. I'm sure.
Because I can absolutely see the day that an actual democratic force goes into Gaza, like an actual real democratic force goes into Gaza, and you just see the same thing you see in all situations like this: mass graves with untold numbers of people.
I always wonder, like, what people living through historical events are able to piece together, like what was happening, how many times like can numbers change when things are uncovered, like what was it like to live through the Nuremberg trials and like learn more about what the hell was happening for the last 8 years. And now I'm like in real life, like, damn, when are we gonna get the Nuremberg trials too? When are we gonna get this like shit, man? This is crazy.
This is beyond anything. This is beyond anything we've seen before. This, when you look around the time of World War II, there was a few countries who banded together under the Axis powers and did all their evil shit. But now you have multiple countries around the world, each individually doing their own evil shit. How many civilians have fucking died in the Donbass?
I can Google that real quick right now.
You can Google it and you'll get numbers.
I just want to see like what we're working with estimations.
What is the reality?
I just want to see so we can be like, oh, it's definitely more than this. Ukrainians killed in casualties of the Russo-Ukrainian War. Fucking Wikipedia. I include 1 million estimated casualties during the Russian.
Yeah, but what are the civilian casualties?
This is the war in the Donbass. Russo-Ukrainian War. Yeah, there's a whole. Let me just go back
it's
to.
Because it's an active war where they can't put numbers up on a Wikipedia article because those things are changing day by day, and Wikipedia is not a news source.
This is from Congress.gov. This is what Elon Musk wants people to print out for him every week. Well, several years, 70,000 Ukrainians. So it's like near 100,000 Ukrainians. I don't know when this was. I don't know. This is a dumb.
Yeah, but that's why I'm saying, like, you can look it up. You can Google the numbers. And
I'm gonna say this is the
maybe
number.
a number.
I'm gonna say this is the number here. Like around 130,000.
But even that heading there, troop deaths.
Yeah, 17,000 troop deaths.
What the civilians on the ground don't want this.
No.
Even the Russian civilians don't want this.
Yeah. Nobody wants this. It is a it's a wars fucking destroy the whole both countries involved, especially when they prolong for fucking 3 years and no progress is made, and people are just conscripted to sent to the front. You become the villain of the world.
Yeah, but the thing is that people get this idea of war being fought on battlefields and the front and things like that, right? But
Yeah.
when there was no war, people lived there.
Yeah.
Like these aren't just like, separate places. This is people's commute. This
The
is
village
people's
becomes the front.
workplaces. The village becomes the front. Like there's stark moments, and you don't see them all the time. But there's certain war movies, for example, where they'll be fighting in a city, and then you'll just see like a kid hiding under some rocks while the soldiers come through.
Like Come and See or some shit.
Like,
is that the movie? I think Come and See.
I don't know. I'm not referring to a specific.
No, I'm just there's like a famous like Russian war movie that's like super brutal and stuff. Called like Come and
but
See.
everything's out of Russia is super brutal.
True.
But yeah, I'm not referring so much so to a single movie, but these moments you see in some older war movies, especially, where there'll be soldiers, they'll be fighting through the town, and they'll run through like some houses and stuff, and you'll just see like people.
Oh, like in Saving Private Ryan, there's the scene where there's like the people in that little like house, and then there's the sniper scene. Remember that? Yeah. Stuff like that.
It's like it's not even. Look, I live in a country with a high crime rate, especially when it comes to gang crime. So, I'm sure you have an odd amount of it sometimes there, where you'll hear gunshots or something, right? You go to certain neighborhoods and you're more likely to hear gunshots.
Yeah, not really where I live, but yeah, definitely in
Same,
nearby
not
places I
really
live.
where I live, but I have been to those neighborhoods.
Yeah.
I was visiting a friend at their house. My car's parked outside. I'm sitting in their kitchen. We're just hanging out, and we just hear gunshots fire out, and they're just like, maybe it's a car backfiring, maybe it's gunshots, and they just keep rolling. It's like this shouldn't be the normal for anyone anywhere.
Yeah.
And war zones just turn that up to like 1,000,000 times.
One of the most fucked up things you mentioned, the living in like a area that has a lot of that type of stuff. Like the I feel like there's a thing that in that bothers one of the things that bothers me the most in the world is when people go and try to justify stuff like that by saying, "Oh, there needs to be people who live in this sort of way. Like there needs to be a caste system. Like, there
No, but
needs to
they're
be that
wrong.
hierarchy." Yeah, no, I hate those people so much. It's like scum of the earth type shit to say that.
They're
Ugh.
absolutely wrong.
It's like Jordan Peterson type of shit to say. Oh my
Look,
god.
we have reached a level of technology where we don't need. And look, this is going to be one of my extreme opinions again. We don't need country borders. We don't need countries in the same way we did before.
I agree.
We don't need paperwork to go places like we did 100 years ago. We didn't need it 100 years ago, in my belief.
Yeah.
But we now live in a time where what you're 16 hours away, 18 hours away
From what?
from me.
Well, however a plane long lasts, I mean, like walking wise, I'm however
Yeah,
long
not
it takes to
walking.
walk
I'm
along
talking
the
about
bottom of the ocean.
technology.
Yeah, no, you're like, yeah, I'm like a 16-hour flight from you. Not even. Probably 10 hours.
Let's see.
A 16-hour flight is from like New York to Tokyo. So a flight from like it would be I'd probably go out of New York anyway, or maybe Newark. It's like a flight from Newark to Cape Town would be like probably 10 hours.
Cape Town International to what you say?
Newark.
Newark Liberty International.
Yep, that one. New York to like Chicago. It's like an hour, 2 hour fucking flight.
Yeah, it looks like about 20 to 25 hours.
25 hours. That can't be right.
Let's see.
That can't be right at all. 25 hours of flying? That's not correct at all. 26 hours? 2 stops? What? How the hell the fuck are Kenyan flights doing? How the hell
What
is
do you
it?
want me to tell you?
How the hell is
It's
it
direct. 60 there, direct flight, 16 hours.
Okay, yeah, the layovers are just
Yeah,
25
layovers
hours.
will always add, but
15-hour flight, huh? I guess like oh yeah, like which one's latitude and which one's longitude? I think latitude's the sideways one, right? I'm talking about
yes.
these types of directions with the fucking sphere. Yeah, so like longitude wise, we're not that far, but latitude wise, we're super far.
Yeah, and then you combine those two.
And then yeah, I guess it makes sense for a 16-hour flight.
Shout out to these prices though. It's more money than I'll ever fucking see.
Jesus Christ. Hold on, how much? Hold on, let me just see one of these in USD. So it's oh no, go back to the last one. 17,575 rand to USD. So if we have 17.5,
ZAR to USD.
that is $952.
Yeah.
You know, if I saved up for a year, I could visit you easy. If I saved up for a year with a better job or better
Yeah,
hours.
but this is a one way.
Yeah, I know, but that's why I'm saying save up for a year.
So just consider. Oh, this is not one way.
Oh,
One way flight costs about 10,000.
that'd be like $400, $500. No, probably 500. No, probably 600. Well, now we're just looking at plane flight costs. Did you see that there was a near miss on the runway? And
Yeah, you don't want to get on a plane right now, do you?
yeah, no, I don't. It's like every week now there's a new fucking plane accident or plane crash, near miss.
Say what you will, Kenya Airlines is not getting fucking shot out of the sky by their own people.
Kenya Airlines, the one plane company I can rely on.
Yeah, just don't look
Crazy.
at the history of South African Airlines, SAA. Don't look at their history.
Okay.
It's not. Look, I joke. But I will say this up front. It's not about planes falling out of the sky or falling apart. It's about the company being incredibly poorly managed and going out of business every now and again, and having to get help from the government constantly.
Oh,
What's it? Bailouts.
That's like the average airline company. Guys, hey, Mr. Government, we're barely able to stay afloat, but you kind of rely on us. Can you bail us out, please? How long until flights are no longer have seats and we just get packed in like sardines and stand up? I feel like that's happening at some point because like
would that really be the worst if it made air travel cheaper?
No, yeah, absolutely it'd be the worst. Because air travel is fucking horrible. Air travel in America is so poorly managed. Like the whole motto is just pack as many people into the plane as you possibly can because it's the only way you can make a profit because it costs so much money to get a plane in the air and to fuel it and to take care of it and to like take care of people on the plane and to hire pilots and pay them. It is such an expensive business that pretty much the entirety of the airline industry is subsidized by the government. And packing people with sardines would be like a danger. It'd be like actual like fucking like packing people into a train car. Like it's like you don't want to do that. Like people pissing and shitting on themselves
all the time. You see, yeah.
That's 8 years of near bankruptcy. Jesus.
Look at the size of the section.
2020 definitely was the worst of it though with COVID. Oh wow, yeah.
Request for further emergency financing.
Please, we need money. Please.
What's it? As of May 1st, 2020, all SAA staff members were on unpaid leave of absence, including those who were reporting for duty with no pay for
Oh my
4,700.
My God.
A report shows SAA made losses of almost 16 billion in the past 3 years.
Where'd it go? We lost it.
Previous 3 years. That's pre-COVID. 16 billion rand losses.
We lost the
3
money.
years.
We lost the money.
So yes, that's kind of the state of SAA.
Well, can you scroll down
Just
a
to
bit?
give you
Can
an
you scroll down
idea.
a bit? The graph down there with all the red lines. That's crazy. I don't know what those numbers mean, but that's crazy looking.
Operating profit.
Millions in rand. Oh
Yeah,
God.
couple of million.
Oh, they didn't make any money in any of those years, huh?
Yeah, and you can kind of see the trend in number of employees. It's like 11,000, 10,000, 8,000, 7,000, 8,000, 10,000. Like, what the fuck happened to you guys?
How did you lose 11,000? How did you fucking lose 3,000 employees? What'd you do? Oh, that's a good logo, though. It looks like fucking Satan in that last one. It looks like the Jersey Devil.
Well, I mean, look at the years. Don't forget who ran it during these years.
It looked like the goddamn Jersey Devil in the last one. Google the Jersey Devil. It's literally that.
I know the Jersey Devil.
Yeah, but pull it up for the listeners who don't know the Jersey Devil. Racial controversy. Who would have thought? South Africa with a racism controversy? What year was it?
Rejecting white cadet pilots on the grounds of race.
Oh, who would have thought? It's affirmative action. Bro, DEI keeps planes in the sky.
Wait, established that the online form being programmed to reject whites. Legal action resulting in the policy being revoked.
Eddie Smuts.
I don't know. I don't trust the build.
The build. Yeah.
I don't trust
Probably
them.
smart. If it's in
It's owned by
Africa.
Naspers.
Naspers. Naspers.
And it's Die Burger and Volksblad.
Die Burger.
And you can see all the, even up to now, Adrian Basson.
Basson.
Tim Duplessis.
Tim Duplessis.
So you can see, like, they have a narrative. This is exactly what I was talking about.
Jacob
But
Zuma.
this is probably 100% true.
During the administration of Jacob Zuma, the SAA board was implicated in a number of corruption-related controversies. Most notably were allegations of corrupt or irregular activities by the SAA non-executive director and Zuma appointee Dudu Mieni, which were widely blamed for placing SAA in serious financial difficulty. Wow, Jacob Zuma involved in a corruption controversy? Who would have fucking thought?
Yeah, Jacob Zuma basically had his fingers in every single one of the pies when it comes to big.
Literally go to any South African like government page or business page, and there'll be a section for corruption controversy during the presidency of Jacob Zuma. It's kind of crazy. It's so fucking funny. It's only funny. It's only funny because he looks like such a funny, kind old man.
I will say though, right? I was talking to, I won't say specifically who because I won't call them out like so publicly, but they are somebody who have problematic opinions here in South Africa.
Jacob Zuma Jr.
and I was no, a family member. And I asked them, when does South Africa get its first female president? And they gave me the most surprising answer for who they think that should be.
Tell me.
Tuli Madonsela.
Ooh, who is this?
She was a prosecutor, very much like Kamala Harris.
Right.
And her most notable thing is she is the one who nailed Zuma to the wall constantly. She's the one who took on Zuma.
You know what? That's a good pick then. That's a good pick. If she has any interest in running for president.
Oh yeah, but I don't think she was public protector, which is kind of like AG.
Yeah. Attorney General.
Yeah,
Big lawyer.
She investigated. She was appointed by Zuma.
What's her controversy section? What's she got controversial about her? Only one thing.
Foxton Consulting Company, previously contracted by SABC, which is South African Broadcasting CEO, to be the spokesperson publicist of the group. The fact that the SABC had its own company was paid. Was identified in the state capture inquiry as one of the individuals improperly appointed by Jacob Zuma as part of state capture.
It's nothing. It's just some like bureaucratic, like, you were implicated in this state capture thing. And it's like, well, I also like,
you are one of the many names mentioned. It's like, but you know, everything under Jacob Zuma was questioned.
Yeah, well, good for her then. You wanted
Oh my goodness.
What?
Under this personal life section, she became an assistant teacher at Naledi High School in Soweto, one of the schools at the center of the 76 Soweto uprising. Like this was fucking.
Oh.
Yeah, kids were shot.
Jesus.
Yeah, actual like children were shot.
Fuck.
176 with estimates up to 700.
That's the
original
very
government
wide
claimed
range.
only 23 students were killed. Oh, you know, it wasn't that bad. Only 23 students were killed.
Only 23. The number is not any higher than that. Don't look. How do you fucking justify a number range that large of like, oh yeah, no, it totally wasn't anything like. Anyway.
Yeah, the old, and people still want to come to me and defend like the old regime and say like, oh, you know, things weren't that bad under apartheid. Like, what the fuck are you smoking? Like,
I'm smoking.
Government
crack.
was shooting children, and you're just like, oh, it wasn't that bad. Like, what the fuck are you on about? Oh, but they're terrorists because they decided to get violent. It's like, who started the goddamn violence? This is 76. Yeah, I get very angry and passionate about this.
You deserve to. That shit's like real and recent.
Like, holy shit.
Like, I get angry when I hear people like shit on civil rights protesters and like fucking MLK and like the Black Panthers and stuff. Like,
speaking of which,
yeah,
for our last little segment here, you actually heard from Black Panthers.
Yeah, I went to Wakanda. No, that's stupid.
Let's not disparage them.
Yeah, no,
those guys with the jokes. Let's not make
it's
a joke
legit.
of
It's
their
legit.
particular thing. They were real Black Panthers.
So
who fought for civil liberties.
Yeah. So the other day on campus, they invited some Black Panthers to come up and speak. And
I have the pictures here. Can I bring them up on stream?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
So yeah, they came in to speak. They talked about their goal of the speaking was to give people a more understanding of what the Black Panthers actually were, because a lot of people only know the Black Panthers for the time that they held a bunch of guns in Oakland. But they were much more international than that. They were much more community help oriented. Stuff like the survival programs are mostly just self defense and like food programs, education programs, like stuff like that. There was a lot of they talked a lot about the research that Black Panthers did on sickle cell anemia, which is a what's the word? Like it's not genetic blood condition. It's like a blood thing. It's
Yes.
anemia. I don't know science words, but
Sickle cell anemia.
yeah, I don't know. It's a blood thing, and it only mainly affects Africans, Black people. I don't know why, but it does. But because of that, nobody actually put any money into researching it. So the Black Panthers did a bunch of like funding of it themselves, having like scientists work, charity work to do this research. They did most of the research. I forget they dropped a number of how much money they actually put into this research, and it was a huge success to the point that it was actually giving the Black Panthers so much power that Richard Nixon was like, all right, we got to cut down their power and we have to start actually funding the sickle cell anemia stuff. Same thing with free lunch programs too. The reason why there's free lunch programs in America is because of the Black Panthers. They also did the same thing, where it's like we need to take this power away from them. But as you saw, Jade had pulled up, the two speakers gave autographs of their sections of a book, and the book that it is a book called The Black Panthers: Portraits from an Unfinished Revolution. It's a collection of a bunch of different stories from Black Panthers, former Black Panthers, giving like short testimonials, short like stories, anecdotes from their time in the Black Panthers. It's it's not written by any one person, so if you want to find like author, it's edited by Brian Shee and Yohuru Williams. Really good book. Like I've been reading through some of it. A lot of it is really just like short, like really easy to get through, really easy to understand, like tidbits and anecdotes of times. Like one of the speakers, his story was about how when he was living in Harlem, he was in the Black Panthers, and John Lennon and Aretha Franklin came to Harlem to do a show, and they were like, hey, let's get some Black Panthers to be our protection, because they're like, we support the movement and all that. So they did the concert, and the speaker was one of the bodyguards for them for the night, and they were like hanging out, and he was talking about how good of a time it was for the community and how much fun it was for everyone. That to
be so cool.
And then it ends with like how the government was like, they killed this, they destroyed this, they destroyed the community that was made, and it's like a really good read, and the speaker was really good. His name, he's going up there as BJ, is William Johnson or something, Billy Johnson. And then the other speaker was a guy named Atmos, who was from Newark. The other guy was from Queens. The two of them were great. They had a great stage presence. Loved them up there. Really good. They do a lot of work. That one is that's the main
this
speaker.
Dude
that's BJ.
Looks exactly like the kind of guy who would say something like "Stay woke."
Yeah, he was that's the BJ. The other guy was Atmos.
He looks cool as shit, though.
He does look cool. He looks
cool
great.
As shit.
When he was introducing the book, he was like, "Does anybody know who this is? Anybody recognize this?" And he's like holding up the photo, bringing it up to me. He was like, "That's me. That's me." He's great. He's like, "Oh, you don't recognize me? I'm not that old."
This guy gives like serious Nelson Mandela energy.
He was like completely stone faced, and then he gets up there, and then he like starts talking, and he's like smiling, and he sounds like kind of like just an average New Jersey guy, little high pitched like little guy going like, "Hey, it's me. I'm from Jersey." He's just like, these guys rocked. They rocked. Got, like, the Che Guevara
colorful shirt.
Yeah. They were rocking like some nice outfits there too. Like he had like a fucking giant Che Guevara like pin on him. They were selling some really cool stuff. They were selling some pins and things. I was considering getting a pin, but I think I would get more value out of having the book, so I bought the book. Plus they signed it.
Yeah, the book is definitely a lot of value, and these signatures are absolutely fantastic.
Well, they're not their signatures. It's just to me. They didn't actually sign it themselves.
No, but I mean, like,
The
to
yeah,
get
like an autograph,
a little, little something from the guys.
Yeah, definitely. Um, I was looking forward to this a lot because they were supposed to come in 2 weeks ago, but the snow canceled their coming down. So I'm happy it actually happened. Really, really cool people. Really cool. I was like, when I was actually like meeting them and shaking their hands, I was like completely like limp noodle, like starstruck, like, oh yeah, it's nice to meet you, ha ha ha. And like, I gave like the worst handshake I've ever given in my life. I was completely
No,
weak.
but they look cool. I
They
would
were
hang with
cool.
these guys.
They
I
were
would hang
cool.
with these
Now the question
guys.
is, would they hang with you? They were telling a story of
I'm
how
not cool enough.
no, it's just they're just so busy. Um, they're just so cool. They were telling a story about how one of the guys he ran the news. The one guy, the BJ guy, he ran the newspaper that was coming out of New York and stuff like that. And he was also talking about how when he was doing the food programs, he was they would go around and get their donations from local businesses to in order to fund. Like they would get like oh, this person they give us like $2 a week and they give us like some bacon, and this person they give us $2 a week and they give us some eggs, and this is how we give the kids free breakfast is we're getting donations from the local communities, and people who refuse to give donation or like refuse to support in any sort of way, they're shitty. Just boycott them. Just don't buy their shit. So he would like there was this one store he would go to, and he would go there on Tuesdays, he said, and they'd get $2 from the guy. And then one day he goes in on Tuesday, and his wife is there instead. And the wife's like, "What do you mean $2? I don't get what you mean." He's like, "Oh no, we're doing this for kids." And then they explain everything, and she's like, "That cheap son of a bitch." Here's $4, some eggs, some bacon, some fucking chicken, some milk, and like all this. I come here on Thursdays. Come in on Thursdays now. Don't talk to my husband ever again. Like real great stuff. Like it's a lot of what they talked about was the importance of community active, like community, like organization, like being active in your community and stuff. And like I wish that the professor who was organizing this didn't cut off questions after 3 questions, because I would have totally asked something like do you think it's possible for this level of community like organization to happen today if like the given climate of the country and stuff, given all that. Like I really wish that those questions weren't cut off after 3 questions, because I mean the questions that were asked were pretty okay. If I forget
I do
them,
imagine that they'd say
yeah.
yes, though.
I hope they say yes, but I hope they give like a like some insight into something that like I'd like to hear from.
Because at the end of the day, guys like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Their view is very much like, no matter how bad shit looks, no matter how bad shit gets, you should fight. You
Yeah.
should try.
Yeah.
Like,
I
not
just
to put words in their mouth, but that's what I imagine.
yeah, it's pretty much like
People like that don't allow
sentiment.
the system to get them down.
Yeah, they were talking about how what actually got them to join the Black Panthers. At least what BJ said, because Namus wasn't talking. He was saying that like he was joining the Black Panthers because of seeing them on TV and stuff, and like the action, like Huey Newton out in Oakland and stuff. So like seeing people like putting up resistance is like what got them into it. So it's like that is definitely an aspect of what made the Black Panthers like so successful, was like that we're gonna do this shit anyway. We're gonna like work to help our community by like as much as we can. Like it's really like really powerful. I'm writing my essay for my African American history class on the Black Panthers, and mostly about the impacts on the community, and it's a really interesting and important topic. I think I recommend getting that book. Anyone who's interested. They also said another book, which I actually have to remember the name. I'm pretty sure it was called Blacks Against Empire. I'm just gonna really quickly double check that, because that one they weren't selling, so I didn't grab a copy of it. But they said to also read that, and how it's basically a whole breakdown of the history of the Black Panther Party from like a top-down view and stuff. Yeah, Blacks Against Empire by Joshua Bloom and Waldo E. Martin. This because the other one was more so about like actual like they called them rank and file of the of the Black Panthers. This is like an actual like history of the Black Panthers. So those two I recommend to read up on. I also didn't know that the Black Panthers were so international too. They had like Maori Panthers and shit, like Sephardic Jews in North Africa.
I would argue that a lot of South African pushback against the apartheid government was also, you know, in line with that.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Like sort of like mutual aid. Another cool thing, by the way, was also just seeing those guys get up there and just give unapologetically, unquestionably socialist like praxis, being like preached, like socialist rhetoric, just unapologetically being talked about on stage in the college campus of the most Republican county of the state. Like that's pretty cool. Like getting up there with Che Guevara pins and being like, "Yeah, we were doing yeah, we were doing socialist stuff." Like we're the boogeyman on TV. That is good. That is good. Yeah. Do you have anything else to say on
I
that?
mean, just to add to that, here's a South African resource on some Black
Alternative
Panther
information
stuff
and
as
development
well.
of cancer. Power to the people. Remember the Black Panthers' 50th anniversary. We do not fight racism with racism. We fight racism with solidarity. We do not we do not fight explosive capitalism with black capitalism. We fight black capitalism with basic socialism. Bobby Seale. I fucking love Bobby Seale, dude. He's one of the original heads of the Black Panther and stuff with Huey Newton.
So yeah, there's like a whole thing.
Yeah, I'd
That people can look into.
love to go through reading
Woman of
this.
the
Yeah, women,
movement.
Angela Davis. This would be interesting to go through. So this is a South African website. Yeah, it's .za.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Org.za.
Nice.
From Amandla.
Amandla.
You know what Amandla is?
No, I don't actually.
Freedom.
Oh, okay. Interesting. No, is that a Kosa?
I think so. I believe so. Let's see. Oh, it's means power, like power to the people.
Oh yeah, that's the slogan of the Black Panthers.
Yeah. Nguni language is Xhosa and Zulu, meaning power. Popular rallying cry in the days of the resistance against apartheid.
Amandla. Okay, that's good to know.
And the crowd would respond with Awetu.
Awetu. Amandla Awetu.
Power to us. Power to the people.
Yeah, good. That's good. Good to know. I love learning new about languages, new words, new phrases. I would actually like to do some digging to see if there was any, because like they had the Black Panthers, like I mentioned, like the Maori. They had stuff in Australia, New Zealand, like the Middle East, India. I'm sure they had some work being done in South Africa. I'd love to actually look up on that. Like for sure there was, though a lot of the apartheid stuff happened after they disbanded. So like because
the thing
they
is
disbanded
like
in '82.
apartheid started pretty early, but remember the people here were so disenfranchised that it took a long time to really build up. Because look, not to minimize anything that happened in the US, but like the Jim Crow laws weren't quite as severe in many of their aspects as like actual apartheid.
Yeah, apartheid basically like was the worst of Jim Crow as the baseline.
Yeah.
Like apartheid's pretty fucking bad.
Black Africans were basically not allowed to own any of their own private land.
A good way to describe it for Americans, think of how women were treated with not being able to own things. And then instead of it being women, it's like 90% of the country and it's on racial lines.
Yeah, I heard a really shocking statistic the other day where 70% of private land in South Africa today is owned by white people.
Not surprised at all. Not surprised at all.
And then I got into an argument with somebody about it because they were like, that can't be true. That's clearly like Absolutely a fabrication. Look at all the black people that own the stuff, and look at Soweto and Guguletu pointing me towards like fucking townships. And I'm like, that's not
Jesus.
the same as owning private
Yeah,
land.
building a shack on top of a fucking empty plot of land is not land ownership.
Like that's very much not the same as owning private land. Like look at all the farms. If you look at like just in my province alone in the Western Cape, if you go out to the farmlands, it's like it's all owned by white dudes.
Absolutely. Bunch of Afrikaans
And they all
farmers.
have like Dutch and German and French names. Like, tell me,
Bagel Unkelflanken. Boogly
like,
Unkels.
like here's one of the big wine estates,
Van Loveren. Van
Van
Loveren.
Loveren.
Van Loveren. Family Vineyards.
I wonder, I wonder.
Space Ponies.
Yeah,
Roberton.
Robertson.
Parl. Parl's a fun word there because Parl is the name of a Bloodborne boss.
Really like that.
What?
This is a really, really like awful place to go.
Oh god. Dark Beast
Like,
Parl's crawling around.
like just for the fact that like it's very much like an Afrikaans town.
I see.
It's very much like a very Afrikaans neighborhood and area.
Weinskloof
And you can see
Pass.
it's like out there, past farmlands and stuff, like out.
Yeah,
It's
past Clapmuts. Clapmuts.
Klapmuts,
Clapmuts.
Klapmuts.
God, these names are so funny.
Uh,
Kryfontein.
yeah, Kraaifontein.
Kryfontein. Delft!
Like Yuri, Delft.
Delft! Let's
Oh God,
go,
Delft.
Delft!
Dude, Delft is. Look, even the people who live in Delft will tell you not to go to Delft.
Don't go to Delft.
I remember, what was it? The one night I had to
Town
drop somebody
3.
off who lived in Delft, and it was like 2 in the morning, and they tell me it's like well, we've just entered Delft now. Don't stop at stop streets and don't stop at red lights if you're the only car. Just
Jesus.
go. Just
Jesus.
go. Don't stop your car. Just go.
Jesus.
That's what I say. There is a crime problem here. There is a gang crime, especially.
Yikes.
But it's some of it is really overblown because nothing happened to me in Delft.
What did you get
Nothing happened
mugged?
to me when I drove through.
What did you get mugged?
Once in Stellenbosch
Mm-hmm. That was when you're in
and
reverse.
once in Belleville.
Elville. Alright. Interesting.
Belleville.
So
Belleville's like,
Delft has no qualms with you. The people of
Delft has no
Delft.
issue with me. I've driven through Khayelitsha, I've been through Mitchell's Plain.
I assume these are all like rough
Masiphumelele, I've been
places.
into. I was fine there, but like Belleville, like the city fucking center. Because
Boston?
before,
Yo!
yeah, we have a Boston.
Yeah, fighting
Boston's a
Irish.
part of Belleville. But
Belleville, Massachusetts.
yeah, before Cape Town became completely just everything, Belleville was actually considered a city.
Ah, so it was like it just got eaten by Cape Town.
It just got eaten by Cape Town at some point during my lifetime, by the way. During my lifetime, like after I left high school, Belleville stopped being a city at some point.
Do you think
It made me
do you
really
think Cape
sad.
Town will then past up north past Blubberg Stand and Durbanville and stuff? It would push up
Lower
north.
Strand, that's
Blubberg
considered
Stand.
part of Cape
Yeah,
Town.
no, I'm saying like, do you think it'll push up past that in your lifetime, like to Parl even?
I mean,
Milk. I can't pronounce that fucking word.
Melkbos
Melkboston.
Strand.
Melkboston. Fucking fake
So
language.
Strand or Strand is basically beach.
Okay.
So it's Melkbos Beach.
Milk Boss Beach. Milk
Milk is milk.
Milk Boss Beach. Milkbosstrand.
Bos
Milkbosstrand.
is bush, so it's Milk Bush Street Beach.
Milkbush Beach. I can't even. That's like a
Blowback.
tongue twister.
Blowbach
Blowbosstrand.
is blow is blue.
Blue.
Bach is, come on now,
Town.
mountain.
Oh, berg. Oh, like an iceberg. Ice mountain.
Yes. So it's Blue Mountain Beach.
Blue Mountain Beach.
And then the rich area.
Sea Point. Sea Point sounds like a town I'd live near.
Sea Point and Camps Bay. Camps Bay is where all those American houses
Yeah,
are.
you showed me. Yeah.
Yeah, I showed
On the
you
other side of
like
the mountain.
fucking expensive McMansions
Yeah.
that overlook the sea. And Clifton. Clifton is where the nude beach is.
Oh, hell yeah.
I think it's Fourth Beach.
Well, don't click
Clifton
on it.
Fourth
Well, don't
Beach.
fucking click on it.
I'm not going to click on it. But there was also, I had...
Lucky Tattoos. Higoville. Higovale. Higa Valley. We should be wrapping up soon.
Yeah, this is us starting to like wind down on
Yeah.
it.
You can tell
I used to
whenever
live here.
Fishhook. Yeah, you told me about that.
Fishhook, Murdoch,
We always whenever we start to
Komiki.
whenever we start to look at Google Maps is when like the episode we're like, all right, I think we're done. It always happens. We always get led to Google Maps eventually.
And you see, it
I
is
just-
quite a distance, isn't it?
I just love maps. Yeah.
Do you see why? Like, even a direct flight is like 15.
You're not
16
even
hours.
hovering over New Jersey even. I can't believe you don't know your geography. You're hovering over Maine. I can't believe you.
I'm just hovering over like the north fucking
I know, I'm
eastern
just messing with you.
quarter.
I'm just messing with you.
You want me to find New Jersey? Isn't it just a suburb of New York?
No, it's not. It's not. It's not at all.
Your fucking state's gonna be debelbeled.
In my like world building I'm doing, I actually have made several New Jersey counties into boroughs of New York.
There you go.
Like I turned Jersey City and Newark and Orange and stuff into counties into boroughs of New York City. It's funny though. It's funny. It's okay. It's okay.
God.
I think we're gonna wrap
This
up
is
here.
gonna
though.
have some. This is gonna have some wild thumbnail.
I'm gonna make it the AI Gaza.
Why not the AI? Elon's two left feet.
Cause that's already what we're opening with. I don't want that shit to be like on the thumbnail, dog. We're like gonna be fucking blasting that shit. The first thing people see already.
Yeah, but then like a statue, the golden statue of Trump, with, like Elon's feet.
All right, we're gonna wrap up here now. We're gonna wrap up here. We hope this episode wasn't too draining with the politics. There was a lot of stuff that needed to be said. It's gonna get worse. We say this every episode. It gets worse, and guess what? It does get worse. So yeah, we're right.
Every time.
Listen to us. We're the number one authority on all things except for
Getting
medicine.
worse.
You can listen to us about anything except for medicine. Because that can kill you, and then we're liable to being sued.
Crimes do gay.
Yeah. Invest in Doge. Invest in South African government.
Look. If you invest in the South African government, just accept where your money is going. Under Ramaphosa's bed.
In between the Zuma's bed sheets.
No, he's not president. Remember, remember I told you about.
He's the shadow president.
Money under his bed.
He's the shadow president.
Zuma wishes he was the shadow president. We don't have a shadow president here. This is not America.
A suspiciously Zuma-shaped silhouette sitting behind the like fucking press conference door or something like. Okay, let's wrap up now. Everybody, we'll see you next time. Watch out for the Zuma under your bed. Bye.